My girlfriend said, "If you don't start acting right, I have plenty of options." During an argument, I replied calmly, "I'm sure you do." Then I updated all my emergency contacts, beneficiaries, and insurance policies. When she had an actual emergency and the hospital called her parents instead of me. Original post. I, 33 male, have been with my girlfriend for 3 years. We don't live together. She has her apartment, I have mine, but we've been serious enough that we talked about moving in together eventually. Keyword, eventually. That timeline kept getting pushed back for various reasons, mostly hers. Quick background on me. I work as a project manager for a construction company. Good salary, solid benefits, company vehicle. I've got decent life insurance through work, a separate term policy. I pay for myself, a 401k, and a small investment account I've been building since my 20s. Nothing crazy wealthy, but I'm comfortable and I plan ahead. My girlfriend works in retail management. She does fine, but she's never been great with money. That's not a judgment. Different people have different priorities. But it became relevant when we started talking about combining lives. About a year into our relationship, she asked me to add her as a beneficiary on my life insurance. We weren't engaged, weren't living together, but she said it would show commitment. I thought about it, talked to my financial advisor, and ultimately agreed to add her as a secondary beneficiary after my mom. She was happy. I figured it was a gesture of good faith. Then she asked to be my emergency contact. Again, seemed reasonable. We spent most of our time together. She knew my medical history. She'd be the logical person to call if something happened. I updated my forms at work and at my doctor's office. Then she asked to be added to my investment account. I said no. That was a hard line. We weren't married, weren't even engaged, and that account was my retirement safety net. She was upset, but eventually dropped it. Over the past year, things have been shifting. She's become more critical, more demanding. The word options started appearing in arguments. The first time she said it was about 6 months ago. We were arguing about vacation plans. I wanted to save money. She wanted to go somewhere expensive, and she said, other guys will be happy to take me on a nice trip. I let slide. Figured it was just frustration talking. The second time was 3 months ago. I couldn't make it to her friend's birthday dinner because of a work emergency. She said, maybe I should find someone who actually prioritizes me. I have options. I let that slide too. Shouldn't have. The third time was 3 weeks ago. The argument that changed everything. We were at my apartment, discussing her lease renewal. She wanted to let it expire and move in with me. I said I wasn't ready yet. There were some financial things I wanted to sort out first, and I wanted us to do some couples counseling before taking that step because of how tense things have been lately. She lost it. You're never ready. You're always making excuses. If you don't start acting right, I have plenty of options. Do you understand me? Plenty. I just looked at her. Calm. Tired. Done. I'm sure you do, I said. She blinked. I think she expected me to grovel, to apologize, to beg her to stay. Instead, I said, maybe you should explore those options. See what's out there. She stormed out, slammed my door, so Har, my neighbor, texted asking if everything was okay. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the word options. The way she said it like a threat. Like I should be grateful she was choosing me instead of her backup plans. Like I was supposed to perform better or get replaced. I thought about all the ways I'd tied myself to her legally and financially. The beneficiary designation. The emergency contact forms. The assumption that if something happened to me, she'd be the one making decisions. The thought made me sick. The next morning, I made some calls. First, I called HR at my company. Updated my emergency contact from my girlfriend to my mom. Updated my beneficiary designation to remove my girlfriend entirely. My mom is now the sole beneficiary of my employer life insurance. Second, I called my personal insurance company. Same thing. Removed my girlfriend, added my mom as primary beneficiary and my brother as secondary. Third, I logged into my 401k and investment accounts online. Updated all the beneficiary information there too. Fourth, I went to my doctor's office in person. Filled out new paperwork. Emergency contact, my mom. Healthcare proxy, my brother. By the end of the day, my girlfriend didn't exist in any of my official paperwork. If I got hit by a bus, she'd get nothing. If I ended up in a hospital, She wouldn't even get a phone call. I didn't tell her. Didn't see the point. She wanted options? Fine. I was giving myself options too. We kept dating after that night. Things were awkward for a few days, but she acted like the argument hadn't happened. So I played along. We went to dinners, watched movies, did normal couple stuff. She probably thought we were fine. We were not fine. 2 weeks after I updated everything, she had an emergency. She was driving home from work, got T-boned at an intersection by someone who ran a red light. Her car was totaled. She was unconscious when the paramedics arrived. The hospital needed to contact her emergency contact. They looked at her phone. Lock screen, no access. Checked her wallet for any medical ID cards. Found her insurance card with her employer's info. Called them. Got her file. Her emergency contact at work? Her parents. She never updated it after we started dating. Probably never even thought about it. The hospital called her mom and dad. They live about 4 hours away. They drove through the night to get there. When she woke up, concussion, broken arm, some bruised ribs, but overall lucky, her parents were sitting in her room. Not me, because I didn't know anything had happened. I found out the next morning when her mom called me. Not the hospital, not my girlfriend. Her mom. Why weren't you there? She asked. Why didn't the hospital call you? I don't know, I said, which was technically true at that moment. I didn't know her work emergency contact was her parents. She kept asking for you. She was confused and scared, and she kept asking where you were. I felt something twist in my chest. But I also remembered, I have plenty of options. I'm sorry she was scared, I said. Is she okay now? She's stable. She's upset that you weren't there. I'll come by later today. I did visit. Brought flowers. Sat with her for a couple hours while her parents went to get food. She was groggy from pain meds, but lucid enough to have a conversation. Where were you? She asked. Why didn't they call you? They called your emergency contact. That was your parents. But you're my emergency contact. At your job? No, that's still your parents. You never changed it. She looked confused, then frustrated. Well, what about your forms? Didn't anyone check with your work to see if I was listed? Why would they check my work? You were the patient, not me. She didn't have an answer for that. I stayed until her parents came back, then said I had to go. Kissed her forehead, told her to rest. I didn't mention that I'd removed her from everything. It didn't seem like the right time, but she'd figured out. Eventually, update 1, 10 days later. She's out of the hospital, staying with her parents for a few weeks while she recovers because her apartment is a third-floor walk-up and she can't manage stairs with her injuries. I visited twice, brought food, kept conversations light, avoided anything heavy. Her parents have been cordial, but clearly suspicious of me. Her mom keeps giving me looks like she's trying to figure something out. Then, about a week after she got out, my girlfriend called me. I need to talk to you about something, she said. Her voice was weird. Flat. Okay. I was going through some paperwork. Insurance stuff. And I noticed something. I waited. I'm not listed as your emergency contact anymore. I called your doctor's office to check on something, and they said I wasn't authorized to access your information. When did you change that? A few weeks ago. Silence. Then why? Because you told me you had plenty of options. I figured if you had plenty of options, you probably didn't need to be tied to my paperwork. That was just... I was angry. I didn't mean it like that. You said it 3 times in 6 months. At some point, I have to take you at your word. So you just removed me from everything? Without telling me. You didn't tell me when you threatened to leave me for someone else. Multiple times. I didn't think I needed permission to manage my own forms. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, what about your life insurance? Your 401k. What about them? Am I still listed? No. I could hear her breathing change. Faster. More agitated. You removed me from your life insurance? Yes. We've been together for 3 years. 3 years. And you just removed me like I'm nobody. You told me you had options. I believed you. Why would I leave my assets to someone who's actively considering leaving me? I wasn't actually going to leave. I was just making a point. The point you made was that I'm replaceable. So I treated our arrangement as replaceable too. She hung up on me. Her mom called an hour later. What did you do to my daughter? She's hysterical. I updated my personal paperwork. That's between me and my insurance company. She says you removed her from everything. Your emergency contacts, your benefits, everything. That's correct. Why would you do that? because she told me she had other options. Multiple times. I decided to believe her and plan accordingly. Her mom sputtered. That's cold. That's incredibly cold. Maybe, but it's honest. She made it clear I wasn't her only choice. I made it clear she wasn't my only beneficiary. She hung up too. Over the next few days, I got texts from her sister, her best friend, and 2 of her cousins. All some variation of, "How could you do this to her?" And, "She's recovering from a car accident, and you're being cruel." I didn't respond to any of them. Her best friend eventually sent a long message about how I was financially abusive for removing her from my accounts. I actually laughed at that one. We weren't married. She had no legal claim to anything of mine. Updating my beneficiaries isn't abuse. It's paperwork. But here's the thing that actually got to me. I found out through her sister that my girlfriend had been telling people for months that she was basically engaged. That moving in together was just a formality. That she expected to be on all my accounts eventually anyway. She'd built a whole narrative around a future I hadn't agreed to. And when I didn't perform according to her script, she tried to threaten me into compliance. The options comments weren't just frustration. They were manipulation. Act right, or I'll leave you for someone better. And I was supposed to be so scared of losing her that I'd give her whatever she wanted. Except I'm not scared. I'm tired. Update 2, 3 weeks later. She's back at her apartment now. The stairs are still hard, but she's managing with help from friends. We met in person for the first time since everything blew up. She asked me to come over so we could talk like adults. I agreed, mostly because I wanted closure. Her apartment looked the same. She was on the couch with her arm in a cast, looking smaller than usual. Not physically, emotionally, like something had deflated. "I've had a lot of time to think," she said. I sat in the chair across from her. "Okay, I didn't realize how much I've been taking you for granted. The options thing, I know that was wrong. I was insecure. I was scared you'd never actually commit, so I tried to make you jealous. To make you feel like you had to step up." I just nodded. Not agreeing, not disagreeing. Just listening. But removing me from everything? That hurt. That really, really hurt. I was in a hospital bed asking for you, and you weren't there. Not because the hospital didn't call, but because you'd already decided I didn't matter enough to be contacted. That's not why I did it. Then why? Because you made it clear that our relationship was conditional. That if I didn't act right, you'd leave. So I made my paperwork conditional too. You don't get to threaten me with other men and then expect to be my beneficiary. That's not how this works. She wiped her eyes. So what happens now? Are we breaking up? I've been thinking about this for weeks. The honest answer was probably. But sitting there, looking at her, I wanted to give her one more chance to show me who she really was. "I don't know," I said. "What do you want to happen?" "I want us to work. I want to go to therapy, like you suggested. I want to move past this." "And what about the options? Do you still have plenty of those?" She flinched. "That was stupid. I shouldn't have said it. But did you mean it? Are there other guys waiting in the wings?" "No, there never were. It was just a manipulation tactic. I learned it from my mom. Honestly, she used to do it to my dad all the time. If you don't do this, I'll find someone who will. It worked on him. It doesn't work on me. I see that now." We sat in silence for a while. Then I said something I'd been thinking about but hadn't planned to say out loud. "Here's the thing. Even if we go to therapy, even if things get better, I'm not adding you back to my paperwork. Not until we're married. Not until there's a legal commitment that matches the financial one." Her face did something complicated. Hurt, maybe, or realization. "So you don't trust me?" "No, I don't. You threatened to leave me for someone else as a negotiating tactic. Trust is gone. It can be rebuilt, but it's going to take time. And until then, my paperwork stays the way it is. That feels like you're already planning for us to fail." "No, it feels like I'm protecting myself from someone who told me I was replaceable. If you want to prove you've changed, you have to do it without the safety net of being my beneficiary." She didn't like that. I could see it in her eyes. But she didn't argue. "Fine," she said. "We'll do it your way. Therapy. Time. No promises on the paperwork. That's all I'm asking." I left her apartment that night feeling something, not happy, not sad, just cautious. Final update, 6 weeks later. We tried the therapy. Went to 3 sessions. It didn't work. The therapist was good. Professional, fair, asked all the right questions. But what became clear pretty quickly was that my girlfriend wasn't actually sorry for the options comments. She was sorry they had consequences. In the second session, the therapist asked her directly, "Do you understand why threatening to leave the relationship as a manipulation tactic is harmful?" Her answer, "I understand he took it that way, but I never meant it literally. He overreacted." The therapist looked at me. I looked at her. "I remove her from my paperwork," I said. She says I overreacted. So in her view, threatening to leave me is acceptable, but me updating my beneficiaries is an overreaction. My girlfriend crossed her arms. "That's not what I said." "That's exactly what you said." The therapist intervened, tried to redirect, but the damage was done. We spent the rest of the session talking past each other. After the third session, I made a decision. I called her that night. "I don't think this is working," I said. "The therapy? It's only been 3 sessions. We need more time." "No, us. I don't think we're working." She was quiet. Then, "You're breaking up with me." "Yeah, I am." "Because of the paperwork thing?" "Really? Because of everything." The paperwork thing was just the symptom. The disease is that you see relationships as transactions. You give affection when you're getting what you want. You threaten to leave when you're not. That's not partnership. That's hostage negotiation. That's not fair. Maybe not, but it's true. She started crying. "I can't believe you're doing this while I'm still recovering. My arm isn't even healed yet." "I know. I'm sorry about the timing. But I can't keep pretending we have a future when we don't." "So that's it? 3 years and you're just done?" "You told me you had options. I'm giving you the chance to explore them." She didn't have anything to say to that. The breakup was messy, but not catastrophic. She had her apartment. I had mine. No shared accounts. No shared property. No legal entanglements. The only thing connecting us was history, and history isn't binding. I blocked her on social media after she posted something vague about surviving narcissists who punish you for having emotions. I didn't need to see that, and I didn't need to respond to it. Her mom tried calling me once more. I let it go to voicemail. She left a long message about how I'd traumatized her daughter and how I'd regret this when I'm alone. I deleted it without listening to the whole thing. About 2 weeks after the breakup, I got an unexpected text from her dad. We'd never been close. He was pretty quiet at family gatherings, let her mom do all the talking. His message was simple. I heard what happened. For what it's worth, I understand. She learned those tactics from watching her mother manipulate me for 25 years. I should have put a stop to it a long time ago. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for having boundaries. I didn't know how to respond to that. Just sent back, "Thank you. I appreciate it." He didn't reply, but I think he'd said what he needed to say. Life after the breakup has been quiet. Not good or bad, just quiet. I go to work, come home, make dinner, watch whatever. The routines are the same, but there's no tension anymore. No waiting for the next argument. No wondering when she's going to threaten me with her options again. I updated my emergency contact forms one more time. My mom is primary, my brother is secondary. If something happens to me, the right people will be called. My mom asked about the girlfriend the last time we talked. I told her we'd broken up. "I'm sorry, honey," she said. "But also, I'm not that sorry. She wasn't very nice to you. You never said anything. Wasn't my place. But I noticed. Moms always notice. I'm not sure what comes next. I'm not rushing to date again. I want to make sure I've actually processed this instead of just burying it. Maybe I'll try therapy on my own. Figure out why I stayed so long with someone who made me feel like a consolation prize. For now, though, I'm okay with being alone. It's better than being with someone who sees you as one option among many. The silence is peaceful. The paperwork is in order. And nobody is threatening to leave me anymore. That's enough for now.